Hi, so I am going to walk you through a couple of courses that I did for Intro to Microbiology. The first course I will walk you through is my Intro to Microbiology from the spring semester of 2015. And this was the first time I had done an online course. And then I'll shift gears and show you how we've changed it up for fall 2015, the exact same class. So I thought I'd take one particular week and kind of go through it in my first semester that I taught this and then my second. So I've gone down, and this is in my course modules by week. So this is the tab that I'm on. I'm going to go down to week 3, and I just listed each one for the chapters we were covering. This one then, if you click on week 3, we're going to bring up prokaryotic structure. And for my first semester, I started out with a checklist. This told them exactly what they were expected to know or what assignments they were expected to complete for the week. I went ahead and put in the assigned reading, which was generally a chapter in the book. I did mini lectures then that I had made their PowerPoint slides that then I narrated and I uploaded to YouTube. In addition, I did closed captioning of these, which I'll show you on this. That was the real time consuming for me, was the closed captioning. And you'll see here of my closed captioning. This actually took me the most amount of time my first semester teaching this, and I'll show you what we did in the second semester to maybe make that easier. In addition, I put a video that I thought was interesting on this particular subject, a crash course one, which was a fun video for the students and also a good review. And then I have their assignments. So their assignments in this case included a paragraph that I wanted them to do, a blog on a prokaryotic cell organism they saw in lab that week. They did a chapter 3 worksheet, which generally speaking was 10 vocabulary words that they had to match with the proper definition. And then lastly was their Learn Smart assignment. So that was always the last. So that's what my typical week looked like in the spring of 2015. But as a department, it was thought that perhaps this tied us down to a particular lecture or a particular textbook by my lectures, by these mini lectures that I had specific for it. So over the summer, Christine Ward did this great job of taking the material that I had put in my lectures, and she actually put them into interactive activities instead of these mini lectures. So in this case, it's going to be chapter 2. We moved things up by a week by doing a starting strong, getting the students already onto Blackboard. So in this case, this week 2 matches up to my week 3. You'll see that I have at the start again weekly objectives and due dates. So it has the required reading, what learning outcomes they should expect, and then it has the assignments and their due dates. As we go down, there's an opening activity, which the opening exercise is basically a pretest to see what they know. It's interactive. I have then my assigned reading for the textbook, the lecture overview, which basically they took my closed captioned transcripts and put into some displays along with some videos that Christine found to supplement these. She did, let's see, this one is on a lecture overview. Then she did the prokaryotic structure characteristics and bacterial shapes, and then that they're not all alike. And this one's kind of a game that allows them to do flashcards to see what they know. At the end of this, then, it has the video that I had from that first semester. And then we have a check your understanding. So this gives them a chance to test whether or not they got the information from the first chapter. And then lastly is the weekly assignments, which they can open up. And in this case, they had that Learn Smart again, just as we did in the first semester that I taught this, and the prokaryote blog. I did not do the worksheet here. That was kind of taken by those flashcards, the checking your understanding. And so it didn't make sense really to do that. Again, it would have been repetitive. What I have found though is that some of my students this second semester do miss that traditional lecture. So what I went ahead and did was in my course documents, I've gone ahead and started loading up my mini lectures from last semester. And this is maybe for those students who prefer to have the oral along with the visual. Now, I must say this would be a pain. It was a real pain to do the first semester closed captioning each of these videos for each chapter. I had anywhere from, I guess, one lecture to 3 or 4 mini lectures per chapter, and the closed captioning took most of my time. But hopefully this gives you some idea of what you can do in a science course. I think that's everything else here is pretty much similar to what you would have in a face-to-face. The only other one that I would recommend doing is I added an Ask a Question tab, and this is Ask Your Instructor, although it ends up being something they can ask other students. And I've really liked this for my students because they have a fast way of asking a question that may be more than just they have. And either a student will respond to the question or I will, and then it gives a chance for people to be able to read that before they all send me an email. So it's a great thing to do when you have an online course. So hopefully this helps you see a couple of different ways that you can do an online science class. Thanks.